Welcome to the Word for Life podcast, a daily devotional covering the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation.
In Numbers chapter 32, we read about two tribes of Israel who do not want to cross Jordan into Canaan. You see, now the people of Israel are on their way to Canaan, but they are on the other side of Jordan. They need to cross the river Jordan to enter Canaan. But here are two tribes. One is the tribe of Reuben, the other is the tribe of Gad. Both of them, verse 1 says in chapter 32, had very large herds and flocks. And therefore, when they saw the lands of Jazer and Gilead, they thought that land will be suitable for their herds and flocks. And now they come to Moses and Eleazar the priest and to the leaders of the community, and they tell them, "If we have found favor in your eyes, let this land be given to your servants as our possession. Do not make us cross the Jordan." Friends, at face value, this looks like a very practical, innocent request. They had seen a land which, according to verse 4, they said, "The land the Lord subdued before the people of Israel." So, this land was suitable for their livestock. And because they had a lot of livestock, it was only logical to think that this could be a good land for them. Now, crossing Jordan would be a challenge, and they had to take their livestock also across Jordan, which will be another big challenge. So, one would think that they did not ask anything unfair. It was simply a very reasonable request. But from verse 6 onwards, we see that Moses rebukes them. In verse 6, he asks, "Should your fellow Israelites go to war while you sit here?" And in verse 7, he asks them, "Why are you discouraging the other Israelites from crossing Jordan into the land of Canaan?" In verse 8, he compares these two tribes to the rebellious Israelites who did not want to obey God at Kadesh Barnea. And in verse 14, he calls them a brood of sinners. Let's read verse 14. "And here you are, a brood of sinners, standing in the place of your fathers and making the Lord even more angry with Israel." Friends, what the tribes of Reuben and Gad asked might sound very reasonable. But then what Moses was trying to tell them is that they did not think about the other tribes of Israel. He asked them if the other tribes of Israel need to go alone without these two tribes and fight all the enemies that are across Jordan. You see, these people had sinned. That sin might not seem like a sin, but the sin that they committed was the sin of selfishness. They wanted to just sit comfortably while the others would go and take the risk of fighting the battles to take the other lands which God had promised them. Friends, in John chapter 13 verse 34, Jesus said, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." One of the things that Jesus delivers us from is the sin of selfishness. Today we live in a world where everybody seeks things for themselves. Everybody wants to be comfortable. There is nothing wrong in being comfortable, but when we do not look out for the other, when we do not love one another, then we do not actually follow Jesus Christ. Because Jesus showed us a way that was much different from what culture and society shows us. Jesus did not seek good for himself. In fact, Jesus lost everything so that we might live. Romans 12:16 tells us, live in harmony with one another. Now that cannot be easy. That can be too difficult. That is why Paul continues to say in the same verse, Romans 12:16, do not be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Do not be conceited. Friends, a Christian believer does not detach himself from others. He does not live a selfish life. He lives with others, even associates with people of low position. But the question sometimes could be, what if I have a misunderstanding with somebody? What if things went wrong between me and somebody else? What do I do? 2 Corinthians 13:11 tells us, finally, brothers and sisters, rejoice, strive for full restoration, encourage one another, be of one mind, live in peace, and the God of love and peace will be with you. Friends, this verse is a word of promise. When we strive for restoration, when we live in peace, then the God of peace will be with us. Christian believers do not strive to live a life for themselves. They live with a selfless and they aim for a selfless life.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of the Word for Life podcast.